Music may be the most important aspect of culture today. Do you guys realize how much time you spend listening to music? Between the radio every time you get in the car, or listening to music while you work out, or even singing in the shower or soundtracks during movies. A study showed that Americans spend over 4 hours every day or 13 years throughout their lifetime listening to music. These studies were done by Edison Research and Audio-Technica, respectively. These statistics shocked people, but what shocked me was how few people know how to read music. Today, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to teach you guys how to read music. So the first step is musical notation and symbols. Next, I will move on to note names, and finally, note lengths. I started playing piano when I was 4 years old, and I have loved music ever since. I participated in every musical activity at my high school, and this allowed me to devote time to what I love. I hope that through today, I will be able to share with you guys what I love, and that you guys will understand my love for music a little bit better. So first, musical notation. This is a staff. It has 5 lines on it, and it helps identify notes. All music is written on a staff to show the notes. If you have for notes above the staff or below the staff, you use ledger lines, which are simply lines to help identify where the notes are. The clef helps identify what the note should be. It identifies where on the piano the staff is located. The 2 most common clefs are treble clef, which looks like that, and bass clef, which looks like that. We will be using the treble clef today when I teach you the note names. Key signature is the next step of learning musical notation. The key signature helps identify what key music is in, and it shows what the sharps and flats are in the music. Sharps, which look like a hashtag, raise the note, and flats, which look like a disfigured lowercase b, lower the note. A natural simply means that's the note what it is. The final thing in musical notation is time signature. Most songs are written in 4/4 time. It's the most common time signature, and time signature simply signifies how many counts are in a measure and what kind of note gets the beat. I will explain the note lengths later to make sure that you guys understand the different note lengths. So I believe that note names is most likely the most important part of reading music. Note names are simply alphabetical letters that go from A through G. And after you get to G, you start back over at A. The clef also plays a role in the identification. So, like I said, today we're going to use treble clef. And so, to memorize the note names, there are memory devices that are used. So, for example, for treble clef, for the lines, you use every good boy does fine. E, G, B, D, F. And for the spaces, it's face. F, A, C, E. That's the most simple way to remember these. If you go above the staff, like I said, you use ledger lines. So if you see this as F, the next note alphabetically is G, and then the note above that would be A, because the note after G is A. And that would have a ledger line through it. And now if you go below the staff, you see the staff, the bottom line is E, so the note below that is D, and the note below that is C, and that would also have a ledger line. The final aspect of reading music that I will highlight today is note lengths. Like I said, we're going to use 4/4 time today, so because it's the easiest to identify the notes in. So there are different note lengths and therefore different note names. The most basic note is simply a quarter note. It gets 1 beat. A note that is worth half of the length of a quarter note is called an eighth note. One that is worth double a quarter note or 2 counts is a half note. And one that is worth 4 times a quarter note, or 4 counts is a whole note. So another way to think of this is 8 eighth notes equals 4 quarter notes equals 2 half notes equals 1 whole note. I believe that music is the language of the universe. An article on pianoaroundtheworld.com says that music transcends all barriers of communication, but because you can speak and tell stories to someone on the other side of the planet, even though you both don't speak the same language. Music brings people together. I know I have had many occasions where I've just gotten together with people to play or listen to music, and it allows us to connect on a level unlike any other. I know this was not a complete education, but I hope that you guys can at least understand the basics. To recap, I went through the musical notation, talked about staves and the clef and the key signature and time signature, and then I taught you guys the note names and the memory devices used to remember them, and then finally I taught you the note lengths. Now I'm going to go ahead and do a quick quiz to see who can, if you guys can remember the notes. So I asked the volunteer to come up here to see. Now before we start, do you guys remember the memory devices used? So it was every good boy does fine, and do you guys remember the spaces? Space. So there you go. All right, so I'm going to give you the marker, and I would like you to draw me a G.
Any G?
A G on, yes, in the center. Very good. It does. That's fine. Yep, that's fine. And then how about a C? There you go. What about the other one? There you go. Awesome. There you go. What about an H?
Nope.
Good catch. All right, so you can have a C. All right, so I found a quote by Albert Einstein while I was doing this project. He said, "If I were not a physicist, I would probably be a musician. I often think in music. I live my daydreams in music. I see my life in terms of music. Music is my life. It influences my life in so many ways and will never cease to amaze me."